Yeah, you hear me? You should hear me. Tell me if you hear me, yes or no. Eh. Please tell me if you hear me, yes or no. You should. You should. Mamma mia. Oh, that was really stressing. You know what we say, huh? Sometimes you just need to plug out and plug in again, and then it works. We are back. Ciao Juventini of the world. My name is Giuseppe. Welcome back on the channel. I hope you are all doing well. Press conference of Max Allegri. I'm really sorry for the sound. That's not the best way to start, but anyway, we made it in less than 2 minutes. Not bad, huh? Not bad. Less than 2 minutes. We are back. So, Ciao Juventini. Today, press conference of Max Allegri before Juventus Sporting. This morning, I made a video telling you how important the game was, because we know it. We lost in Serie A against Lazio. We drew in Coppa Italia versus Inter, even if we have to play the return game. So we know it, that today or tomorrow, it's an important game. It's not a mystery that they have chosen for Danilo to speak with the coach. Today it will be a longer press conference. It's not like in Serie A where 15-20 minutes and it's over with only the coach that is speaking. Today we have two persons that are speaking. The player first, Danilo, in both languages, in Italian and then also in Portuguese. We know it, he's Brazilian, he speaks Portuguese, so we'll have to pay attention also in terms of translations. And then Max Allegri. So usually these kind of press conferences, they are for 40 minutes, so it will be a beautiful exercise. I stay with you for 1 hour 15 max. For the people that are watching the replay, don't forget maximum of like, but the live translation will start in 4 minutes. You don't need to scroll a lot. Let me first say hello to all the Juventini that are there since the beginning. Styler Z, Emilio, Marian, Stavros, Karim, Lord Chucks, Omar, Zlatko, Matthew, Erand, Thomas, Zlatko, if you are repeating the names, you make it difficult for me. Anton is there. Ciao Apex, ciao Autolectuals, ciao Drugi, ciao and Ciao Zerdest. How do you combine work with that's a big work, that's a big schedule. Easy watch GJustjuve at the same time. It's not a question to me. How do you combine work with something interesting news? Easy watch GJustjuve at the same time. Great, that's a really beautiful way of starting the game. Ciao Matt, you clicked something. Luckily we solved it. Ciao Animesh. Ciao to Ferenc, to Matt, to Eric, to Brian, to Autolecturals, to BT, ciao BT, ciao to Izzajat, ciao to, mamma mia, you're a lot, Gideon, you're a lot waiting for the press conference of today, A lot, because the game is important. Ciao Thomas, Allegri needs to unplug and plug the team again. Hey, actually, that's a really beautiful one. Should be easy like that. You unplug and you plug in again. Ciao Jim, ciao Cairo, ciao Mandalorian, ciao Matthew Fenech. We have Colin Wynn, morning Juventini. Look, we catched up. Ciao Hamza, ciao Minja, ciao Phoebix, ciao a tutti. What are you expecting for a press conference of today? Let me know, guys. Pogba being called up, yes or no? Do you think that Allegri will say yes? Do you think he will say no? Do you think he will just dribble it and avoid to answer the question? Do you think that there will be some questions about Dusan Vlahovic? Because we saw him this morning, he was training with the team. But after after 15 minutes of the training, he was on the ground. Attenzione, he was on the ground, Dusan Vlahovic. What happened? A lot of people were scared. Allegri went really near to him. He was really on the ground, touching his ankle. A lot of people were really scared. But at the end, it was not really a new injury, or he was not feeling pain. He was just putting the bandage around his ankle better. So luckily, more fear than something serious. That's good. PT saying, yes, it's time for Pogba. But in the meanwhile, we have Mikey Mazzarese with a beautiful message. Good morning, Beppe. It's been a while since I said hello. Hope everyone is well. 15 months with us, Mikey Mazzarese. Indeed, it's a long time. It's a long time that you didn't say hello. The last few days I didn't go live neither, so it was not always easy for having you together with me on the live. But we are back for the press conferences that a lot of people, they like. They like because you have live translation of the real words of Max Allegri, not only parts, not the highlights, not things that are taken out of context. And I know that even if we are not always with 300-400 people, we have that small community that love to hear them immediately. But thank you, Mikey. And also another beautiful message from Florian Ristea with a beautiful donation. Ciao Beppe, ciao Florian, welcome my friend. Will Vlahovic be there, Sasha? Good question. Maybe we can launch a poll. So Vlahovic called up, yes, no. Max will not tell us. He will say, of course, we will see tomorrow with the last training. Even, you know, we are playing in our home, so the call up, the squad list will be tomorrow. When we are playing away, we know already the players that are traveling, but now, the day before, now we don't know because we are playing at home, so they are waiting tomorrow around 12 p.m., 1 p.m. to tell us the squad list for the game in the evening. You are not obliged to communicate before, but when we are traveling, you know, there are so many leagues and also the passports, everything is done for players to travel that they anticipate it. So what do you think? Will it be called up Vlahovic and not Pogba? Yes, no, or Max will not tell us and we will have the surprise until tomorrow. Pogba, it's time. Thomas is saying Pogba called up and he has some minutes, but not many. We will see if he can play, yes or no. I already made the possible lineups. Wait, I'm just checking that we are not late for the press conference. Yeah, okay. I already made the lineup. For later. According to what the papers are saying, it's a 3-4-3. Let's see if after the press conference we can maybe change. Maybe there will be some other way of interpreting the game. But at the moment, it's a 3-4-3 with Szczesny in the goal. Brazilian defense with Gatti on the bench. Kostic and Quadrado on the wings. Rabiot, Locatelli in the middle. Double pivot without Fagioli. But instead of a Fagioli, an extra midfielder, we are playing with 3 offensive players. Federico Chiesa and Di Maria from the start. And then Arkadiusz Milik there on top, because even if Vlahovic will be called up, it will be really difficult to see him starting the game. But we will go through that a bit later. First of all, important is to listen to the words of Max when they will start. At the moment, I'm still waiting for them to arrive, and normally they are always on time. Gianni Muscat, Pogba doesn't play tomorrow. Game is too important. Well, if he's doing well, because we know that we took the maximum precaution to not make him injured. He could have been possibly called up for the game of Lazio. We didn't. We didn't want him to travel. We didn't want to risk. So we are really precautious with him. But he's training with the team now since, I believe, if I'm not wrong, 2 full weeks without individual training, really focused with the team, doing everything. So in terms of conditions, I believe that he has some minutes. The problem is not really the condition of Paul Pogba. It's more the, of course, test. A game is a game. It's totally different than a training session. But it's more the fear, the pain. There is someone that wait 1 second. Wait 1 second.
Pardon? Qui nous demande est-ce qu'il y a un lien entre stress et acné et pollution.
Attendez.
C'est prouvé ça?
Probablement, oui, tout à fait. Dans toutes les maladies inflammatoires de la peau, elles sont aggravées par ces facteurs-là. On appelle ça dans...
1 second, guys. 1 second. I'm back. Right on time. The sound is back. Everything is back. So, right on time for the first question of Danilo. Let me go back. Mamma mia. Disaster. Okay. Disaster. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. The first question will be for Danilo. What Juventus do we need to see versus Sporting tomorrow? Danilo. Of course, tomorrow we need to be the best of us, the best version of us. Sporting eliminated Arsenal, the first one in Premier League. That shows the strength of the team. We are conscious. We are also conscious that the game will not stop tomorrow. There are 2 games. Tomorrow is the first part of the 2 games. Danilo is speaking, guys, yes. Question about the journalist to Danilo. You extended your contract in a real difficult moment of Juventus. Do you feel that you need also to speak with your teammates and ask them to do exactly the same? For example, Di Maria. What a really strange question before Juve Sporting to ask to him. But let's see what the answer of Danilo is. No, this is a real personal thing. When I was signing, I reminded myself that this is already my 4th season with Juve. I can speak only about myself. It has been a choice that I had no doubt. When we spoke about extending it, we always had the synergy with the team, a good feeling between the team. I can speak only about myself, telling you that when I renewed, it was a choice of the heart. Giovanni Albanese, do you feel like no, you are a leader of the team. How big was the maturity? How much did the team matured? Danilo. I'm always saying that then when there is a crisis, there is an opportunity. The young players, the ones that were not playing a lot, well, they had the opportunity to let them see themselves. They also showed that they have characteristics and qualities to wear the Juve jersey. This is the most important thing in terms of growth this season. Of course, we all have to take our responsibility, also the youngest one. Because you can't stay at Juventus when you are not able to take your responsibility. And now they are speaking in Portuguese, guys. Wait, because that will be a difficult one. Wait, let me try to understand it. They spoke about the coach. I tried to understand it, saying that the journalist was asking, you played against the coach of Sporting. How was he as a player, and what do you think about him as a coach now? And Danilo made a joke saying he was really, really tough to play against. I remember a player that was always running, always filling all the spaces. When he had to go into contrast, into duel, it was quite harsh. Now you can see clearly that he took his characteristic as a player and he transmitted them to the team of Sporting. Guys, sorry when I'm translating from Italian, I can do it simultaneously. When I'm translating a bit from Brazilian, from Portuguese, I need a bit of time to understand it. So let's see what our next question will be for Danilo. It's in Italian. Calciomercato.it. What can make the difference to arrive, to reach the end of the season with the team now? Danilo, in this moment, now, it's totally normal that there are some mental and physical dips in all the teams. The team, it's important for every team, and the one that are winning and that wants to win, that they are able to keep a consistent way of mental and physical energy. Romeo Agresti, what are the potential of Bremer and what are the tips that you are telling him or giving him? Danilo, physically on the field, he's one that is eating everyone. Out of the field is one that is really kind, that is always listening, that always wants to learn. He knows that it's a journey with a lot of things to become better. Wait, guys, what are you speaking about in the chat? Are you hearing Danilo, or what is the problem? Errant, stop because you are confusing me. Errant, stop spoiling, because it's only you that is speaking. Let me try to translate. Okay, I explained the concept maybe for new people that it's the first time that they are here. I listen and I translate. I can't show you the press conference because otherwise go on Juventus TV, but it's in Italian. So what I'm doing is translating it, but I can't just show you or make you sure that you are listening to it. Otherwise we will have some copyright problems. So we continue. About Bremer. So Bremer is really strong. It's a player that has a lot of potential, that can become even better. Really kind of the field, always wants to learn. Sometimes even too much. In 7 days, journalists, in 7 days, there will be an important verdict. Are you thinking about it? You especially, because you're a leader of that team. What kind of feeling and stress do you have about what will happen in 7 days? Danilo, normal stress, tranquilli. But we try to speak less possible about that. We want to be focused on what's happening on the field. That is already a lot. That is already really difficult. What happens and will happen out of the field is something that the club is taking care of. And the club will tell us. So what we have to do is, as always, concentrating on what is happening on the field. Culture news. Question from the journalist. Are you aware of being always more and more important for the team? With more and more responsibilities? Is this something that is making you feeling more sure, more secure about yourself? The journalist. No. What I'm doing now is not that different of what I always did since I arrived at Juve. Of course, there is always a hierarchy that we have to respect. But the work I'm doing now, I have always tried to do, trying to help the younger ones, trying to be an example, trying to be someone that is available to help the other ones. Especially when it's a moment of more difficulty. It's not a different job. I feel well, I'm happy. But these kind of words that you are using, like being more sure or whatever, more aware, it's absolutely the same. Nothing is changing since I started at Juve. Radio Bianconera, question. You said that you needed the best version of Juve to face the game of tomorrow. Well, are you talking about it between you? Because a lot of time you spent a lot of time, you wasted a lot of times in some games. So it's not possible. Wait, a fantastic question from Antonio Paolino from Radio Banconera that is saying, you said that tomorrow you need the best version of Juventus. Do you speak between the players about it? Because a lot of time we saw this season that a lot of moments of the game you are just wasting them. Not starting well the first half or not starting well the second half, referring a bit to what happened, for example, versus Lazio or versus Inter, just wasting time. It's not possible from an external person to think about a Juventus that is wasting so many times in a game. So really important, great question. Let's see what the answer of Danilo will be. I'm curious about that one. So if we are speaking about the game of Lazio, well, the game of Lazio, we have to consider it in a total different way, because Lazio is a team that is always a team that is making other teams playing less good. Then we saw what happened in the last 20 minutes of the game, that we were always close to the draw. Impossibility to score one more goal. We have to be conscious that we have to play the games until the 90th. They don't stop in the first half. Sometimes it happens that some other teams, the opponents, are not letting you play. But in the last 15 minutes, we are still aware that we can win the game. I'm not convinced about the answer of Danilo this time. The question is fantastic. The answer, less good. We will debrief that after the press conference. They're asking about Gatti now. Danilo, I'm really happy to speak about Federico Gatti, because he's really an example for all of us. He's arriving from the second division to Juventus, and that is staying 6-7 months without playing nearly, but he never gave up. He's always trying his best in training session, and when he has the opportunity, he shows that he can, and he has the qualities to be at Juventus. So I'm really happy for him, for his journey, but he knows that he can become better. But it's a guy that is super humble, that is always ready to listen, and he wants to stay at Juve. Last two questions for Danilo, and then we go to Mr. Max. What's happening with Dusan at the moment, it's normal. It makes part of a growth process. He needs to have patience. He needs to work. He needs to do well everything that he needs to do in training session. When he needs to rest, he needs to do well. We are all also speaking. At the moment, he is relaxed. He always thinks to do better for the team. And according to me, this is a momentary difficulty. Nothing is easy in football, but with the qualities that he has, he will succeed in passing that moment and getting over that moment. Last question for Danilo. You are Brazilian, you played in a Brazilian national team, you played with a lot of different big teams like Real Madrid, Manchester City, and so on and so on. Did you speak with Dusan? Did you tell him some stories of big strikers that you played with? This is the question of the journalist. Let's see what Danilo will answer. No, I didn't speak about any player with Dusan Vlahovic, because every story is different. Every way, every journey is personal, is different. He knows that he needs to continue to work as he's already doing, and he's always working really hard every single day. He's trying to stop after training session to work with the mister or with the technical staff. He wants to improve these small things, and I'm sure that from the moment that he will start scoring again, he will make the difference. But pay attention, because the work of Dusan Vlahovic, it's not only scoring, but he's also helping us in keeping the ball, in helping us with the defensive phase. So it's not only scoring, but there are a lot more things in the job of Dusan Vlahovic. Now we will go to Max Allegri. And then we will recap because there are some parts of Danilo that I wanted to come back on. So Sporting that is arriving tomorrow, question from the journalist, is coming from a fantastic 2023. What are the characteristics that you are focusing on from Sporting? Max Allegri. Sporting is a team that I believe in the last 11 games did 4 draws and 7 wins. Young coach, good coach, solid coach, brought back silverware in 2021. After 19 years. So we need to have a lot of respect. We know that it's an important game to make sure that we have the possibilities to go to the next game against Sporting to qualify for the next round. Giovanni Albanese, Gazzetta dello Sport. Minutes about Vlahovic and what about De Sciglio and Alexandro? So physical conditions. Alexandro and Vlahovic are at disposal. De Sciglio not. We hope to have De Sciglio for Sassuolo, but he will not be there. Dusan Vlahovic could play even 90 minutes, but he received that knock on the ankle, so tomorrow he will be at disposal. Guys, Vlahovic on the bench, huh? If we listen, Vlahovic on the bench. Is the team more nervous about all the controversies, the investigations, and so on and so on? I will say the same as Danilo, guys. Max Allegri, no. Team is not nervous. They are tranquilly, they are chill. Of course, there are things that are happening on the field that sometimes are making us boiling our blood. So sometimes you can have also reactions. That doesn't mean that we have to excuse or that the things that happen after Inter that are beautiful things to see. Absolutely not. But there are a lot of things in Italy that you have to reconsider. Sometimes in Italy we are making bigger and giving a lot of attention to the word that has been said bad, the action that has been said bad. So the negative things, the bad things in Italy, we love to emphasize them, to give them a lot of importance. While the good thing, we don't speak a lot about them. Another question. Exactly the same question from another journalist. Do you have some pressure about what is happening in 7 days with the finals, 15 points? I don't understand the question, guys, sometimes. Huh? They asked the same to Danilo, you already answered. They asked just now to Max, he said, and now they are asking again the same. So we will translate, guys. What do you want me to say? At Juventus, there is always a lot of pressure. We have to continue to work on the field. We have that two important months to make sure that in May, we have a lot of games to play. Because if we can go through Sporting, we have 2 semifinals to play in Europa League. And also in Coppa Italia, we will need to see if yes or no we can do it. And then we still have 9 games to play with 27 points to take in Serie A. But the team is solid and they are used to all these news that are arriving. We have to continue. And also from this experience, that particular, really strange and unique experience of what happened with the minus 15, I believe that you go out of it much stronger. As Danilo just said, all situations needs to become opportunities. And there is always an exit door, but we have to find the exit door. Management is thinking about the off the field. We have to focus on the field. I repeat, the team did 59 points. Let's see how much we can do in the remaining Serie A games. Then you like it or you don't like it. This is something that is not changing. It's not interesting me. And we also ask the players that they don't care about it, because at the moment we are the second strength in Serie A. I hope that's clear for everyone. Also, the one that doesn't like it, that doesn't appreciate it, at the moment, with facts, we are second. Question in Portuguese. The journalist is asking, is the game that you played against, that Sporting played against Arsenal, is that an example? So the journalist in Portuguese is asking, the game that Sporting played against Arsenal, is that an example, or are you underrating Sporting? And Max is saying, no. If we are underrating Sporting, well, we would be totally crazy to do that. Sporting is a team that has a lot of technique. They eliminated Arsenal, and it's not easy because at the moment they are the first in Premier League. It's a team that, if you are comparing versus Sporting of 2017, it has less experience, but a lot of youth, a lot of energy. So it's a real difficult. And then in Europe, every game is different. Coming back on Vlahovic, question from the journalist. Do you think that there were a bit too much criticism towards Vlahovic? Max is saying there were criticism towards Cristiano. Do you remember when he arrived in Italy, 3 or 4 or 5 games he didn't score when he arrived, and there were already criticism. So imagine for Vlahovic. He came back. He played well. Now he is again in a small, difficult moment. But this is totally normal for a player of 22, 23 years. It's making part of his career. There are some moments where things are not going as you want, a bit less good than what you were thinking. He needs to be balanced. That's always difficult. That's always the most difficult thing, to remain in balance. But as every striker on earth, he needs to do it his way. Like Rabiot last year, a lot of people didn't want to see him anymore on the field, if I'm not wrong. Or am I wrong? No, because I'm not really technological. I don't have a really great memory. So can you tell me about Rabiot? Last year, some people, they didn't want to see him on the field. Opinions are changing from a moment to another moment. Dusan has really great characteristics. He's really strong. He's young. But it's not that he's less good than when he arrived. It's just a moment there is no scoring. Point. But I'm happy about what he's doing. Are you happy about the season of Paredes? And can you tell us a bit of what happened? Was there a discussion on Monday with Paredes? Attenzione! So, on Monday we ate even a really great meat. No. There was a discussion with Leandro Paredes, that is a player that I really wanted at Juve. I understand that he has some frustration because he's not playing a lot. There are some moments that you can be a bit more nervous, but this is part of the game. Important is that we all focus on the last 50, 60 days of the season. Unfortunately, there are a lot of players that are not playing. A lot of players are not playing. I'm always trying to do it regarding to the game, regarding to the good of the team. I can miss, I can be wrong, but I'm making change for the good of the team. According to me, I try to make sure that everyone was playing. I'm happy also that he has that reaction, because that means that he wants to, and that he wants to do well in the last 2 months. Attenzione. Winning a game is a bit easier. Winning a competition is a bit more difficult. It's absolutely not easy because you have to arrive until the end. You have to win. Winning is something special. It's not something normal. Europa League is an important competition, especially because when you arrive in quarterfinals, semifinals, there are really teams that are really strong. So you need to be really good. But of course, being back to play a final would be precious, would be beautiful. But attenzione, because you still need a few games before arriving to the final. You still need 4 games, so step by step. Fabiana Della Valle, Gazzetta dello Sport. Derby, all Italian derby in Champions League between Napoli and Milan. Are there even more regrets that you are not playing the Champions League? Max Allegri. I'm happy about what Inter did yesterday. Let's see today Milan-Napoli. It's a good for Italian football. If we are in Europa League, that means that we didn't deserve to play in Champions League, that we deserve to play Europa League. So we have to do everything possible to go back in Champions League to play the Champions League next season. But no, I'm not surprised about the Italian result in Champions League. Last 3 questions. Alberto Mauro, Messaggero. Pogba, will he be called back? I said Paul Pogba called up. We will see tomorrow. No. He didn't say yes. Attenzione. He didn't say yes. He said Paul Pogba called up. We will see tomorrow. The important thing is that he already played or trained with the team. No, what? Finally. He didn't say yes. He said we will see tomorrow if he will be called up, yes or no. Important is that he already played or trained with the team without stopping. If we have him in the best condition for the end of the season, of course, he is super important. Because let's not forget that the season is still long. 2 months to play, 9 games in Serie A, and hopefully 7 more games between the cups. 16 games are a lot. So hopefully we can arrive to the 5th of June because the season is long and beautiful, because that's why we are here to play these competitions. How much and how many Danilo would you need in the team? No, we are not scared. And when I hear the word being scared, it's a beautiful message, because that means that you have respect. When you are not scared, a lot of time you collapse. Regarding Danilo, I have the luck to have Danilo, to have Bonucci, to have Perin, Pinsoglio, Quadrado, Alexandro, players that are here since really long time and that were able to transmit to the young players. And let's not forget that we had a lot this year, luckily, that there is always something lucky in bad luck. We didn't see Pogba for a year, but we saw a lot of young players that can become the future of Juventus. But thanks to the experience and the capacity, the ability of responsibility that the older ones have, they were able to make sure that the youngster became even more responsible in moments that were absolutely not easy. I'm lucky that I have these men, more than players, men in the locker room. Sporting is playing a lot of time with a 3-4-3. Is it possible that tomorrow we see a trident? Or do we see some prudence? And then question about Di Maria and Chiesa. Allegri. Don't ask too many questions, otherwise I will go crazy. Tomorrow I will decide the lineup. It's not about the formation. It's about doing an aggressive game. Don't forget, we are playing over 180 minutes. We are playing at home. We need to go and to win that game. Because there is no away goal rule anymore. So you need to win. Regarding Chiesa is doing much better. But the 3 strikers or 4, depending of tomorrow, it's not depending on the formation of Sporting. Attention, I like that. I will come back on that one. Last question. Danilo said that Juve needs to put the best version of Juve on the field tomorrow. According to Allegri, what is that best version of Juve? Allegri, answer of Allegri, the one that wins. The one that wins. What an answer. The answer of Max Allegri was, if you know Max Allegri, it's a bit easy. Let's say it's a bit easy to guess the answer. But it's always a one that is coming from boom, boom. So I recap that last question and then we go through everything. Sorry, it was a bit confusing today. Sound, no sound. Some people that didn't understand the concept and I totally understand it. So, but the last question was, what is... Danilo said, tomorrow we need to put the best version of Juve on the field. So the question of the journalist was, Danilo said, Juventus needs to put the best version of Juve on the field. According to Allegri, what is that best Juve on the field? And then he didn't even leave the journalist finishing the question. He said, the one that wins. So the journalist was expecting a 3-4-3, a 4-3-3, one that is running, one that is scoring a lot of goals, one that is really solid. No, he said the one that wins. Basta. Ciao a tutti. That was the answer of Max Allegri. No, okay. Long, I told you, the press conferences in Europa League are much longer than the one in Serie A. First of all, because there are 2 to speak. Also because they take a lot of more time. They have also journalists from foreign countries, like this time from Portugal. I have to admit, guys, that honestly, and I will repeat honestly, a lot of questions are a bit bizarre. Or, you know, the journalists, they have one question for the player, the opportunity to ask one question for the coach. And some journalists, they prepare their question like one question like the day before, and even if the journalist before you asked nearly the same question, well, they ask it again. I really don't understand sometimes the question from the journalist because, you know, the answers of Max or Danilo, if you want to have great answers from a press conference, then you need to ask great questions. Because if you don't ask great questions, if your questions are average, well, the answers will be so easy or so average because you are not asking any effort to Danilo or the coach. I saw 2 or 3 great questions, and one of the questions, when asked about Paredes, for example, by Gianni Balzarini from Sport Mediaset, Max, because he's also a friend of Gianni Balzarini, but they are dividing friendship and also journalism and professionalism, the question was asked so well that Max, he smiled, like, okay, now you're challenging me. Now I need to answer you without already built answers. So, guys, I'm not a journalist. I will never pretend that I am a journalist, that I'm better than other ones. But when I prepare questions for an interview in a live, it takes me 1 day. It takes me 1 day of full preparation to understand, to have a structure. I take a lot of questions from the journalists, of course, if we are live, especially to a coach. But you need to prepare, guys. And you need already to anticipate the answers. If I say, Will Vlahovic be on the bench tomorrow? I know that there are 3 possible answers. Yes, no, or I will evaluate tomorrow. Change your question, because what do you expect as answers? Anyway, this was my rant about some questions that are really not great. Then Juve saying some of the questions are a trap. I don't know if it's really a trap or insisting, like Sasha said a bit earlier, about some questions that are really more towards controversy than on the game. I don't know how many questions did Max receive. 8, 9 questions, let's say 10 questions. Well, on 10 questions, Max, he had like 4 questions about the stress about the minus 15 points, the verdict, and so on. Guys, we are playing Europa League tomorrow. Why? Why insisting on something that will happen in 7 days? We are the 12th, it's in 7 days. Before that verdict, you still have Sassuolo. So it has absolutely no sense to start speaking about the minus 15 today. You can ask one question. Why not? Why not? But one. Not 3 to Allegri and 1 also to Danilo. They already answered. You know that you will have the same answer. So if you want the answer from Danilo and the coach, it's always the same. We have to focus on the field. We try to speak at the less possible about what's happening on the field. The management is taking care of the field, and when we will know, they will tell us. If Danilo already told you, you know that Allegri will tell you exactly the same. The beautiful thing that they added to that question, Danilo and Max Allegri, is that in every difficulty, you can have some opportunities. The thing is that there is always an exit door. An exit door that if you open, you have these opportunities there. It's good for us to find that exit door. We have to look for that exit door, because sometimes you can just sit and cry about what happens and not search for that exit door, and then you miss the opportunity. Happens for the minus 15 points that solidify the team, unify the team, but also happens for injuries like Paul Pogba that gave the opportunity to a lot of players to play. Well, there was a question that was super interesting for Danilo about, and it came from Paolino, Direttore Paolino, that is taking care of Radio Bianconera, was really interesting about it's not acceptable that Juventus is wasting big parts of games, sometimes from the 21st minutes of the game, sometimes the 21st minutes of the second half, sometimes an entire half, sometimes the last 20, whatever. You understand what I'm saying, especially referring to Lazio without speaking about Lazio. That was the question of Antonio, saying, do you speak between you about that? Because it's not possible that this happens repetitively. It can happen once, but not repetitively. I have to admit that Danilo, fantastic how he spoke in his press conference. He didn't answer that one. Not because I saw a bit earlier he didn't know what to say or whatever. He paid attention to not say strange things. And of course it's a more difficult question where you are putting people in difficulty. These are the questions that I like and I would love to see more and more. Intelligent question that is pushing towards a real answers. He answered something else. He spoke about the game of Lazio. He said in the game of Lazio, don't forget that Lazio is a team that is always obliging other teams and opponents to play less well, play dirty football, so it was quite difficult. But we have to remind ourselves that we still have the end of the game where we can do something, and something was about to happen. At the end, it didn't happen. So, I found the question a bit not good enough, not strong enough. Not really answering the question that was asked, and that we Tifosi, we really want to know, because I appreciated it. I was a bit scared. I tell you one thing about, I'm recapping Max and Danilo. I heard 2-3 times Max and Danilo saying that the game is 180 minutes. We have to make sure that we win, yes, but don't forget that it's 180 minutes. Tomorrow is only the first part of the entire game. Without the away goal rule, that means that you have to win at least one game, and the other one you can draw it. Guys, I don't like that. Ciao Cecilia, ciao GTA, ciao Lord Chucks. I don't like that. To be honest, if there is one part of the press conference today that I didn't appreciate it and liked, was the fact that repeatedly I heard from Danilo and from Max, the game is 180 minutes. No, No, guys. Especially not when you are coming from a Verona game that, yes, we won, but at the end we don't care. We won. But it's important to forget about the Verona performance if you are able to continue to win. If the Verona game, you have to absorb it in a tot of game. But if the Verona game is the only game that you win since you are back from international break, drawing versus Inter, losing versus Lazio, with the performances that in the three were not good, then I'm sorry, but then Verona is not well. Verona is good if you do 1-0 without a lot of games and then you are able to win versus Inter, versus Lazio, versus Sporting. Who cares about the performance of Verona? Only if Verona is at the moment your peak performance since the comeback of international break, then I'm scared, guys, that when you are speaking in press conference about tomorrow is a game of 180 minutes. Don't forget that there is a second part of the game that you need to win one and one you can draw. He didn't really say you can draw like that. He spoke about in general. He said in Europa League, since they took away, or Champions League, since they took away the away goal rule, well, you are obliged to win one. So it depends how you are interpreting it. You are obliged to win one. In his mind, he can have, for example, obliged to win tomorrow, and then you see a spectacular game of Juventus going and trying, because he said also the words aggressive. But my friends, I don't know. Luckily, Jim is saying at least he didn't say 210 minutes. Juve said, I only care about qualifying. I want to go to the final in Budapest. Well, it's long. It's still long. Don't forget, because we have Sporting 2 games. If we do it, we have 2 games against or Sevilla or Manchester United. And then you have the game in Budapest. But it's a long way. And Juventus that played versus Lazio will not be enough to win tomorrow. Acid will continue to watch on replay. If you are still there, or if you watch the second part in replay, hello, Acid. Vlahovic is there, is called up. Pogba, we have no answers, depending on tomorrow. The good thing is that you don't have to rush the decision to today. Why? Because you are not traveling. So you can take your time for Pogba to understand for tomorrow. Potentially could be on the bench. I don't believe that in tomorrow's game we will see, if he's there, a lot of Pogba. Don't count on 30, 20 minutes of Pogba. If he's called up and if the results is allowing it, you see 5 or 10 minutes of Pogba. Otherwise, you don't even see. I would personally, in my mindset, I will already forget about Pogba. Of course, I'm happy if he's there. But if everything goes well, if we qualify in Coppa Italia, if we qualify in Europa League, and so on, you still have 16 games to play until the end of the season. Well, if tomorrow Paul Pogba is not 100% ready, or if we are still scared to risk something, he will be at the stadium. Let him be there in the stands, and we see him versus Sassuolo on Saturday. Is it Saturday or no? It's Monday. Sunday, I believe we play. When do we play? We play the 16th. When is the 16th, guys? Let me check. On Sunday. We play on Sunday. So there is time. I would not risk it. Of course, the good thing is Chiesa is doing much better. He didn't really answer about Di Maria, but Chiesa is doing much better. He was happy about the discussion of Paredes. There was no big fight, but the discussion was there. He was frustrated. He was nervous, of course, because he wants to play. And he said, I appreciate the reaction of Paredes, because that means that he still wants to do something until the end of the season. So let's see. That's it. That's it, guys. Vlahovic on the bench. He will be there. Alexandro is called up. De Sciglio is still not there. Trying to recuperate him for Sassuolo. The reaction of Paredes, we spoke. Transform every difficult situation in an opportunity. Vlahovic on the bench, we already said. Pogba called up, we will know tomorrow. But don't count on Pogba being the man of tomorrow's game. Don't count on that. And then I don't want to, attention guys, I don't want to focus too much on the words on Danilo and Max about 180 minutes, because at the end, it's a reality. It's a reality. It's just that today, of course, after Lazio, after Inter, I would have avoided, personally, avoided, even if it makes sense, even if it makes sense what he's saying, because it's 180 minutes, like Inter didn't qualify yet versus Benfica in Champions League because it's 2 games, like Paris Saint-Germain didn't qualify back then versus Barcelona because they have a return game. It's correct, it's totally correct. No, but Softic, you are just entering in the moment that we are taking care about it, but it's, we spoke about 45 minutes of translation. It's a micro part of the interview, so let's not try to emphasize too much. No, because otherwise you are taking something and you are making it totally bigger than it is. We spoke about so many things, about nice things, great things, about football, about Dusan Vlahovic. That is, yes, in a difficult moment, but it's not only scoring that is important. About the words of Danilo towards Bremer, Gatti, about the exemplarity of Gatti, about the young players growing. There were a lot of topics. Otherwise we go crazy, guys. If we have to take a point and make it bigger, then we are doing what the haters are doing also here with the channel, taking something out of context and making it bigger than it is. Question from Cyril. Question, Beppe. For next season, can we change Kostic into new modern type of left back in order to play a 4-3-3 with Chiesa in front? I know that, personally, I know that this is something that we tried already this season, at the moment without big success, and we postponed that test. That doesn't mean that we gave up on that test, we postponed it. Then it depends how we will play next season. Will Kostic do a specific training about that? Can be. But what I said earlier, the team of this year, they have a big difficulty because Bremer is one that needs to learn to play in a 4-man defense. Our wing backs have difficulties to play wing back, so at the moment it makes not even sense. So. Cecilia, what happened with Vlahovic Instagram? Well, Dusan Vlahovic is not the first time, guys, that they deactivate his social network. Happened, if I'm not wrong, with Fiorentina at the end. He deactivated it. I believe it already happened one time with at Juve, or sometimes he blocked the comment section. He doesn't want to read. He prefer logging out than having to read a lot of things on social media that are bad. I don't care. It's a pity. In general, you know what I'm telling you, guys. I always think it's a pity that in today's world we have an amazing opportunity. It's to have discussions with our idols, because this is something that probably some of you are too young, but 20 years ago, it was not even possible to think about having the opportunity. Or you go to Torino and you wait and you ask for a selfie, but really having the opportunity to speak with players and that they answer you, that they read you, it was something that was not possible, honestly. Today we have the opportunity, but we are wasting it as fans, because when things are doing well, we are happy, fantastic, we share. As soon as 45 last minutes were bad, we start with insults, with dead thread, to extrapolate things and make it bigger, to change the words. And this is something that is really, really bad. And I understand that some players are fed up. They don't need it. They don't need social media to become even bigger or whatever. And I understand that they are deactivating. It's a pity, yeah? It's a pity, because that's really an extreme. But guys, What do you want? I can understand. I think it's really a pity, yeah? But in today's world, when you are missing a pass and people are saying, I will kill your wife, what do you want? What do you want? Are you obliged to hear it? If you don't believe me, ask to Morata, for example. It's pity. It's a real pity on that one. Honestly, yeah? Honestly. Of course, the negative people are louder than the positive ones, but it's a pity how fast we make things bad, we exaggerate, and we have to pay attention how we are doing it. Look, Max Allegri said something super great in press conference today. He said, "Look, Vlahovic is in a difficult moment. Yes, does that mean that he's less good than last year? No, it's just that he's in a difficult moment. But if I have to listen to all the criticism and so on, for some people, Rabiot would not have been on the field this year at all. This is something that I repeat a lot of time on the channel. That a lot of you, and I remember all the names, put Rabiot in punishment because he refused to go to Manchester United. Well, this year he proved everyone wrong in doing maybe his only, according to someone, but his best season at Juventus without any doubt, with 10 goals. The last midfielder that was able to score 10 goals was in 15-16, it was Pogba, sorry. So it's years ago that it happened. So I believe, guys, that sometimes we have to be a bit more balanced. A bit more balanced. That doesn't mean that we can't criticize him. Lazio was disgusting. But even the players said it. Even Rabiot said it. We have to be ashamed of the first half of Lazio. Totally a disaster. Not acceptable. So you can... What we sometimes we forget to do is analyzing, or we are not able to analyze a moment, a game, a performance. And we tend to go really towards everything is really bad, everything is really good. Let me go towards a beautiful message from David Husseinov. That is, thank you, David. He's saying, Rabiot, Locatelli, Fagioli, who you start, bench, sell? I hate these kind of questions, David. I will answer you. Of course, I will answer you. I really hate it because it makes, according to me, I'm a Libra in terms of astrologic sign, and one of the difficulties, I have really difficulties to make some choices. No, hard choices, important choices, I can make them. I have no problem. But these kind of things, I have difficulties because it depends on the moment. It depends on the moment. If you're telling me 3 players, who starts? Well, the one that are the most informed starts. Easy as that. Who's going on the bench? It depends. Do we need to put someone on the bench? If you are playing a 3-5-2, nobody needs to go on the bench. Who do you sell? Nobody. Then, if I'm obliged to choose there, I will give you a context. Otherwise, it makes no sense. Who do we start? Well, if you are looking at Sporting, maybe I would try that 4-3 with Rabiot, Locatelli with Fagioli on the bench. But why Fagioli on the bench? Because it's a resource for second half. Because the 3 of them, they played every single game, and to give the opportunity to Chiesa to start with Di Maria. Why? Because Rabiot's solidity in defense is coming from a magic moment, because Locatelli can easily adapt to different roles. Managing that regista role, but also playing as a mezzala, is someone with a lot of experience at Sassuolo while playing in a two-man midfield. So I would do that. In terms of start and bench according to Sporting game. If you tell me sell, well, sell. If I'm obliged to choose, I would keep Locatelli, Fagioli, even if Rabiot, the one that we see today, is fantastic. But in terms of wages, in terms of future prospect, I go with Locatelli, Fagioli. Even if today Rabiot has shown that this season is a step further than Locatelli and Fagioli in terms of experience, in terms of what he's bringing on the field. I have difficulties with this kind of question, but it's because it's difficult, because it's difficult. We have a Softie saying, when are we going to start playing football? Good question, Softitch. I went to some games also. I watched Molenbeek RWDM second division in playoff playing versus Beerschot. 4-0 for RWDM. Beautiful propositive football. I watched a bit of Manchester City. I watched nearly the entire game with one eye of Benfica Inter. I watched next gen And it's true that that Juventus, in terms of football proposition, is behind. We know it. We know it. So I would change your question, Softic, in when are we going to start playing the football I like as being Softic? Because we play football, but probably it's a football that you don't appreciate, which is totally correct. But here we are speaking about subjectivity. I like, I don't like, I want, I don't want. It's not what I prefer. It's not the mentality I love. It's not the football ideology that I want to see my team playing with. And I agree. And I agree. And I can respect that. Now, when are we speaking about playing football? If you're looking at results, guys, disaster season, disaster season. Huh? This is really a disaster season. We still are second. Then what are we speaking about all the other Italian football teams? Guys, we are praising, let's not forget, we are praising Milan, Inter, Atalanta, Sassuolo, Udinese, Fiorentina. We are all praising them. They are all good. We are only speaking well about them. And at the end, they are behind us in Serie A. These are facts. You can turn them how you want to. These are facts. Is the team overperforming with the players we have? Is the team underperforming with the players we have, with the injuries we have, with, don't forget, a Chiesa out of the team for nearly all the year, with Pogba out of the team? It's a question that I don't want to, that I don't know. Then I would love to see, and I'm really honest with you, and I always said it, when Allegri was sent away the first time, a winning Allegri, for me it was a relief. I wanted to see something else in football, so I will not be lying. I would love to see Juventus doing better than what we do today, because I said it after Lazio, it was not enough, it was not good. This is of course a mentality of the coach. But then you have, and this is probably something that I'm doing too much. Maybe sometime I just need to say, I like, I don't like, I hate, I love, and going with words instead of analyzing. Maybe I'm over analyzing, but then I'm asking myself, really, are we able to do better with that team? Can we play the three up front constantly? Well, apparently no, because one has growing pain. The other one is coming from ACL and mentally is thinking, or the brain are telling him that he's hurt and that he's scared to do the movements. He enters and he goes out. The other one, well, Pogba, we still don't know if he will be called up tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 13th of April. We are still not aware if he can play or not. Di Maria, you have to manage him. When we tried this season with the three up front, they didn't give us the answer that we wanted. So is it really a team that is able to back up the trident? I don't know. We saw flashes, I don't know. At a certain moment, if I am a coach, I tried. But because of that trident, it's making sure that I'm conceding a lot of goals behind, because it's changing all the way of playing. Then I say, you know what, defend and we try to at least not concede, because the goal will arrive at a certain moment. And maybe I'm overthinking, maybe I'm exaggerating, and I should not. It should be much easier saying, good, not good. 2 disaster season. Softic, yes and no. Look, we are praising Lazio, but it's something that nobody, and I checked and I watched, nobody ever mentioned. Lazio with Maurizio Sarri, they intentionally go out of every competition, and it's not the first time, huh? We already saw that when they were playing against us in the COVID year. They go out of every competition to focus on one in the final rush. The season of Lazio has been great, has been solid. They are still 1 point behind Juve in Serie A, but they are out of European competition. They are out of Coppa Italia. And who eliminated them? It's Juventus. So if you're looking at the 3 games that Lazio played, out of Coppa Italia because of Juve, 3-0 in our home, we lost 2-1 against them. And they are 1 point behind of Juve in Serie A. So I don't understand how much we praise Lazio, that is doing a fantastic season for Lazio, and how much we speak bad about a Juventus that is doing a disaster season, as we know, we are still in a European competition, not the main one, not the Champions League, but we are still today in a European competition. We are still in Coppa Italia after the 1-1. We are still over Lazio in Serie A, and don't forget that they took us away 15 points, while for Lazio, that was also now in investigation and so on, they are still there without any penalization point. Will we receive them back? I don't know. Maybe we are exaggerating in pointing fingers too much at Juve, which is correct. We are Juve. We should be there with fighting with Lazio. We should still be in Champions League instead of Inter, Milan and Napoli. But, guys, when you see that Alexandro is losing his balance, and I said it immediately, we totally deserve the loss. Lazio was much better than us. But when we see that with one hand of Sergei Milinkovic-Savic is Alexandro is falling, we all mocked Alexandro. Not me, but all the people, he's diving, he's exaggerating. But I told you, if you played sport at least one game in your life, you know that when you are about to jump and someone is touching you, you fall on the ground. No, we mocked him. Yesterday, De Ligt is about to jump. Holland is putting one hand and even less with power. From here, he's touching him. Look at the dive of De Ligt. Today, people were mocking De Ligt. I saw people were mocking that he was because he learned that in Italy and so on and so on. No, because both of the players have the same reaction. They are touched from the moment they are about to jump and they fall on the ground. You know what's the difference? De Ligt, he receives the foul. Why? In Italy, for Juve, they don't whistle the foul. No, Softic. No, we should not compare ourselves with Lazio. No, but you absolutely, know what I'm saying, Softic. Here you are joking, and you are making sure that I will say things that I don't even think. No, that's not what I say, and you know it. What I mean intentionally, look at the history of Lazio. Lazio, it's a team that wants to go with the maximum of what they can in Serie A, because Maurizio Sarri, and you know it, if you know the history of Serie A, if you know the history of the man Maurizio Sarri, he hates double competition in 1 week. He always said it publicly, we are playing too many games. I have not the capacity, the possibility, the ability to train my team. I am not a coach anymore. I am someone that is manages and putting players on a sheet. This is what I'm doing because we have no time because of all the games to play. And that's why Lazio, they are out. Intentionally, that means if we win, we win. Let's do some rotation. We don't care. If we are eliminated, it's maybe even better. But you know Serie A. You know Sarri. And that's what happened, While Juventus played more games, which is normal. Juventus is used to play 2 games a week. Well, you are playing versus Lazio. But it's okay. It's a choice. It's Lazio. We don't care. It's just that nobody's speaking about it, but we are praising them. And if you're telling me then they are bad, no. Look at the midfield. Milinkovic-Savic, Luis Alberto, they have some good players. Ciro Immobile, that I personally not like. Zaccagni is in a moment of form. They have some good players. And if on top of that they can focus on 1 game a week, Lazio will absolutely not fail. They will enter the top 4. This is a fact. Napoli, Lazio will be there. If they give us back the 15, we can potentially be there. I'm saying potentially because you never know with Juve. Otherwise, we don't know. Ash, what did Allegri said? Go back. I can't recap you 1 hour 16 of live. Ash. But hey, guys. Now, this is what I think about the Juve moment. Nirai. But hey, 16 months with Softic, and I love to disagree with Softic because at least he's keeping me awake. And you're right, Softic. That's what I said in the beginning. I would love to see a much better Juventus. I was super angry. And I believe I will tell you more. If tomorrow we do the game of Lazio, we will not win. We will not win. We will not win. Nirai. 6 months with a tough time build character. Yeah, but hopefully it's not taking too long, because otherwise it start to be annoying. Thank you, Nirai, 6 months. Juvepels, 2 months. DV9 had enough of sell keep opinions from day one. Thank you for the 2 months, Juve Pels. What do you mean with he had enough of sell-keep opinions? Ah, okay, I understand what you mean. No, it was difficult. I understand. Closing in the Instagram also because he was enough of selling, keeping. Just to tell you that football is a matter of opinions. There is no right science. As I am not right a lot of times, as I am right sometimes, I'm more not right than right, of course. But football is no exact science. That's why you have, in the same moments, a coach like Simone Inzaghi, that yesterday everyone praised. Today they called him Inzaghino. A dream Interstellar, they called Inter yesterday. They played a perfect game. That is how they were described. Guys, yesterday I watched the game with an eye. My son was watching it. I was watching the next gen, but I had like 2 screens. I tell you the truth, for long parts, in terms of aesthetics, I saw a fantastic, beautiful Benfica, but Benfica was not able to shot on target. I believe the real first save of the game of Onana was at the 94th minute. But Inter played tactically well. Well, we are here. I saw some Juventini on social media saying, thank you, Inter. Thank you what? Yesterday, Inter, they played a fantastic tactical game, but attentive game, knowing when to hurt. Controversial some decisions of penalty given, penalty not given, here, there. Grazie, Inter. That's what I heard yesterday. That's what I was reading yesterday. Good, huh? But then you have to keep the same exact attitude when Juve is doing it and they are winning. No, because we play bad. No, guys. No. Benfica. We are unlucky as well, huh? We are unlucky. On top of Juve being a disaster, a shame. Agnelli said it, huh? A shame in the beginning of the season. We face the best ever Paris Saint-Germain with Lionel Messi that is in top form to play that World Cup. With the Mbappé that is in top form to play that World Cup. With the Neymar that is on top form to play that World Cup. 3 players that suddenly became the best friend on earth. After the World Cup, all the problems of Paris Saint-Germain came back. Like last year. No unity, they don't speak to each other, they are no friends anymore. You play versus the best ever Paris Saint-Germain and you deserve the out. You play versus the best ever Benfica of the century and they deserve to win against Juve. And this team they are facing now, PSG, Bayern Munich, and they lost. Benfica yesterday was the same idea of Benfica, but not the same intensity, not the same João Mario that was stellar this season. In La Liga de Portugal, they are having that dip. They are having some losses in 2023. Who is the most informed team of 2023 from Portugal? It's Sporting. It's Sporting. Now, Juventus needs to be stronger than Sporting. Juventus needs to beat Sporting. But we play Sporting. We don't play reverse. The team that is in a difficult moment, in a dip. No, we play versus the top team at that moment. It's a disaster. Juventus had a top moment. And when I'm speaking a top moment, calma. But our top moment regarding to what we were offering before the international break, when are we playing Sporting? In the moment that, again, we collapsed mentally. Because that's what we did versus Lazio and versus Inter. That's what we did. And that's why I'm saying the moment that you are playing in European competition is so crucial. You can't plan in advance. You can't say, I don't care about the Serie A, we focus only on a European competition, because you never know. You can play versus a top team in a difficult moment or versus a good, solid team in the magic moment. You can play with some, like Coppa Italia. Look, Handanovic and Lukaku will not play the return game, okay? Handanovic, who is winning? Inter or Juve? That it will be Onana in the goal. Inter, no? Who is losing? Juve, when Cuadrado will not be able to play. The Schiller is not even there. Who's losing? Juve. You see, It's not like Fagioli had a red card. Okay, Fagioli's out. You can play Locatelli, you can play Rabiot, you can play Miretti, you can play maybe Pogba that will be back, you can play Barrenechea, Paredes, you can play whoever. Fagioli's important, but it can happen. You have some substitute. Who's playing on the right? Nobody. Disaster. Our responsibility, our fault. Mark Tarabay, look Beppe, I'm still wondering how last season Allegri didn't play the 3-5-2 formation with Bonucci, Chiellini and De Ligt in defense, because De Ligt was not able at that time to play really well in a 3-man defense. That was the answer, and the official answer. Maybe he didn't even want to play 3-man defense, while now at Bayern he's alternating 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, but at that time he didn't even want to, and he was probably not ready to do it. So, but the past is the past. Also this season, we tried with a 4-man defense because the idea was to play with 3 up front, and at the end we pushed as long as we could until switching a 2-3 that gave us the solidity that we wanted. Our team is not built to play with a 3-man defense. The players are not capable defending. The midfield cannot focus. No, Mark, our team, I think, and I explained it so many times, our team is badly built. I don't know. I will try to explain it. Let me know if I convince you or not. Our team is not built well. Our team is not built well. Point. Look, I show you. Maybe visually it's better. So, if you play a 4-man defense, you are obliged to play with Bonucci. Okay? Let's focus first only on the defense, okay? So this should have been the starting lineup of Juventus, okay? 4-man defense, in order to play with 3 up front. Who are the 3 up front? Let's do it as we want to. Chiesa and, where is he? Where is Vlahovic? And Vlahovic, okay? So this is the idea of, and then according to Max, this was let me check. This was the starting 11 of Juventus. This was the starting 11, okay? Kostic was not there. Guys, Kostic, you remember how long he waited before receiving the yes of Juve? Because in that way of football, Kostic has no way of playing, okay? But you realize quickly that Sandro is not anymore, but we knew, this is not a surprise, the left back of 2015, 2016, 2017. It's not that player anymore. It's not good anymore. Danilo, defensively, he can, but he's not the one that is going up. So you can only count part-time on Danilo as a right back. Defensively, not up, only here until here. So that means that who are the subs? Cuadrado, but Max never really trusted Cuadrado as a right back, and De Sciglio. Where is De Sciglio? And De Sciglio, here, okay? Cuadrado and De Sciglio. De Sciglio, really quickly, he put himself out of the game because he's always injured. So you have only Cuadrado that is there. You have only 3 for position. Kostic, then you buy him. We tried him during games to play a bit more defensively. He's not good enough this season as a left back. That's not his position. So forget about him. So the team is not built, unfortunately, to play with a 4-man defense. It's not. Because if you play with a 4-man defense, you can already expect that Sandro, if he goes up he's tired after 40 minutes and he will not be able to pay attention in the back. He will have less focus in the back. Danilo is not going up. On top of that, you take Bonucci, you put him out of the team. Well, the answer is really fast given, because your team, no, wait, I even forgot one thing. This is how we start the season, with a disaster Bremer on the left side, because in a 4-man defense, Bremer is a disaster on the left. So what are we doing? We are trying to alternate like that, and Bremer is better, yes, but not yet at the level that he needs to be. This is also why the coach of Brazil is not calling up Bremer in a first instance. Right before the World Cup, when we started to play a bit more in the 4-man, and he saw that Bremer was okay, player of Juve, he said, look, he's a great player, let's try to take him. But he was not a starter in a 4-man defense of Brazil, because the coach, he knows that he's a 3-man defender, while in Brazil they are playing with 4, okay? He can maybe arrive there one day, because that's also why he switched to Juve, because he said it himself. I'm ready to play every defense, because I know that a world-class player, is able to play also in a 4-man defense. And in Europe, if you want to win, a lot of time you play with 4-man defense. But at the moment, it's not there. So what are we doing? With Bonucci that is injured, boom. Well, you try like this, and what do you see? That actually, Alexandro, that we all blamed, and continue probably to blame as well, that is performing a bit better than as a left back. Then Danilo, he's not anymore obliged to go up a lot of time, and he's performing even better in that new position. And Bremer on top of that is doing a lot much better. So a team that was built for a 3-man, not a 4-man defense, a 3 offensive men, we discover that we cannot play without a 3-man defense with the men that we have today. Except of flashes of games where you need a bit more push or whatever, the other team is not playing anymore because Lazio was defending in the last 20 minutes, and you discover, maybe the 4-man is incredible. Yeah, flashes of games. From the beginning, I don't know. What do you see tactically? You can't go without them. Then luckily, you discover that a Gatti, you can have an alternative. With Gatti here, Danilo can move here, whatever. So you have even alternatives here. Not Bonucci, because Bonucci has not played this season. In the middle, could you potentially play? Because what do you know also? That Kostic has been your best man of the season. Average, let's say, some games up, some games down, but in average, one of the best, top 3 of the season. For the disaster season of Juve. Can you put Kostic on the bench? No. So what is your opportunity there? Pogba has not been there. Chiesa has not been there. What is the possibility? Paredes disaster. What is your possibility here? You play Rabiot because he's the best midfielder of the season. You play Kostic. You could potentially play with Locatelli and Cuadrado. But what is happening? Well, that you have Luca. I'm speaking about the second part of the season. You have Fagioli. You have Paredes, you have not McKennie anymore, but you have Barrenechea, you have, where are they? You have Miretti, you have, do I forget someone, guys? Pogba, but Pogba is not there anyway. Guys, 7 midfielders. Let's take away Pogba. 6 midfielders for 2 spots. We all want to play the youngsters. If you play with 2, they never play. They never play. So you understand that you need to play with 3. And that's a decision that is much more easy when you understand that playing with 3 is impossible because Chiesa is not there. When you know that Di Maria can't play every single game. And then you go towards Paredes flop, Miretti less good, Barrenechea has been called up recently. You go towards that idea of football with a Di Maria that is alternating with other players here. You go towards that idea of football. And this is how the 3-4-2-1 is start to exist, because it gives you stability, let's say, here with a 5-man defense. The problem is not that. The problem, I tell you what is the problem. Instead of playing like this, what do? We play like this. And here is the problem. A problem of mentality. Because this is how we are playing today. And we saw it. It's a problem of mentality, of not daring enough, of having a bad physical condition. And this is tactically what's happening with Dusan Vlahovic that is here. If next season we insist with Bremer in a 4-man defense and we have 2 wingers, real wingers, you can play a 4-3-3 with a fresh Chiesa. But I would think that next year you continue to play that 3-4-2-1. Mark, I know it's not working. We saw it. I'm not saying that this is the best. But if you are playing like this, guys, if you are playing with Kostic here, Cuadrado here, look on paper, guys. Look on paper. Fagioli as a link. If you are playing like this, with that mentality, okay? With that mentality, let's do it like that. This is a triangle as well in the middle, like this. If you are playing with that mentality, you can do... Vlahovic is not alone anymore. You can go with crosses. You can go with Di Maria behind him. They can play. It's not static. That's what I mean. But how many times did we see this? Not a lot of time. Because a lot of time we see them going back so much and we remain there. And that's where you start isolating Vlahovic. The men are there. Midfielder more, midfielder less. Then of course I'm sure that Max Allegri, he would have loved to play with Chiesa from the start. Maybe that can happen even tomorrow. Di Maria, Chiesa, Locatelli, Kostic, and you have Cuadrado. Fantastic, yeah? Beautiful. But if Chiesa is always injured, it's not my fault, guys. It's not the fault of Allegri. It's the fault of nobody. It's like that. You see? That's what I try to example. No, the team has been badly built. Built for a 4-man. Built for a 3-man up front. 4 men in the back without giving the man. And too many midfielders. That's why at a certain moment we loaned out Ranocchia, we loaned out Rovella. Fagioli was the man that was about to be loaned out. We had a lot of players that were about to be loaned out. Because we had too much. McKennie leaving, Zakaria last minute, Arthur. Let's not lie, And we have today, according to me, if you want to solve up front, you have a problem in the midfield. If you want to solve up front and in the middle, you have a problem in the back. If you solve in the back, you have a problem maybe up front. If you solve in the... whatever, you understand me. The 3 different things in the idea of football of Allegri, we miss something. And that is caused by the fact that we don't have fullbacks. In my idea of how I understand Max Allegri. Do I have a solution? No. Yeah. My solution is play. But the problem is, when we play too much, the team is so fragile and was so fragile mentally. We spoke about all the mentality problems of the team. How many times did we speak about the mental fragility of the team? That when you go down 1 goal, you don't find the strength to come back on result. That's sometimes the consequence of all these problems, 1 + 1 + problem + problem, is making that you are taking the less risks possible, which is not good. And that's where I answer finally the question of Softic. When are we going to start playing football? If your question, Softic, is when are we starting to see Juventus playing the football I like, I will tell you probably not this season. Probably. That doesn't mean that we will not win something. Doesn't mean that we will not try to win, to have good results. But the football that we want to see, probably, or that a lot of us want to see, because I went to 2nd division, I enjoyed it. They were playing, they were up. Probably not this season. Next season, maybe. I don't know. Gianluca, love the way that we are speaking. That you are speaking. No, you speak without guys. This is my point of view about why the team is not working. But if you go back, guys, I tell you that problematic that I see myself, a problematic that I discovered like months ago. I'm just repeating what I always said. Then, guys, honestly, if Juventus manages the game, a lot of time we were able to win that 1-0 because then you have the qualities to win. You're stronger than a Verona. You're stronger than a lot of teams. But sometimes it can be bad. Sometimes you can have hitting the post. Sometimes you can have a goal like Salernitana that has not been conceded. Sometimes you have a push of Sergej Milinkovic-Savic that is not counted as a foul. And then it turns bad for you. But this is because then also of you, because we know it. If you want to receive a penalty, for example, you need to attack. If you don't attack, you have no penalties. It's as simple as that, guys. It's as simple as that, football. By the way, I bought this yesterday. Because everyone was speaking about it. I paid really a lot of money for this. And then I close. I paid a lot for this. No, it's not advertised. I was curious. You want a micro, how do you say, rating about it? Look, I tell you the truth, 15 euros for this. My wife, she was about to kill me yesterday. 15 euros for this. Because it's always like that. L'offre et la demande in French. The offer and the demand. If the demand is high and the offer is less, the price increase. I promise you. It's not the price that they are selling in the official stores. But tomorrow, because the demand is high for that product, 15 euro for 500 milliliter. 500 milliliter. I promise you it's true, I'm not lying. There were two tastes, the blue, the red. I took both. Then I went to and I saw 15. I said, no, I will start with one. I promise you it's true. It's 15. My wife, she said, she was looking like that. She said, no. I said, I need to test. I need to, at least I know what we are speaking about. I tell you, the packaging like this, it's hard plastic. Fantastic. Beautiful work. Fits in your hand. It's not slipping. I promise you. It's not slipping. Look. It's not slipping. Fantastic. You can great. You can close it, you can open it, but in a really great way. You don't feel that it can go broken. A lot of explanations that nobody reads, but anyway, you can see the logo is fantastic. Prime, boom. Everything is great in terms of packaging, I have to admit. Then you open it, and for 15 euros, I'm expecting the best drink of my life. But seriously. It's not an energy drink, okay? It's naturally flavored, tropical punch, no artificial colors. Honestly, this is a drink that I would pay it's 500 milliliter, let's say €2.50, max €3. Max €3. I don't know what's the real price of this. I paid it 15 yesterday because I wanted to test. And it was the price, so you pay the price. It doesn't taste anything particular. It's like water with a small flavor of tropical whatever, punch or whatever. Overrated, guys. Overrated. If you see this in a store for the normal price, buy it. What is the normal price? I don't know. If it's €3, buy it. Because it's not bad. Honestly, it's not bad. It's a great product. But don't get robbed with 15, guys. Don't. don't go with hype. I really wanted to test to tell you. Don't go with the hype of the name just to have it. I didn't post on social media. Look, I have Prime. Who cares that I drank Prime? It doesn't give you supernatural power. It doesn't make your hair go back. I tried that. For 15 euro, I'm expecting that I can walk on water, that my hair would be... No, it doesn't do nothing. I drank and then I still was thirsty. I wanted to drink water after it. So... No, it's true, huh? Juve is doing the math. It's 15% of a new Juve shirt. It's true. How much does it cost? I don't know, huh? Can we check? We can check, huh, guys. Let's see. I'm curious. Price. Prime drink. What is the... 10 euro, huh? On Amazon, they are selling it 30... you don't see it. Wait, I show you. I show you. You see? 10 euro. Plus 18.50 shipping. Mamma mia. Can you imagine? Here. 30 euro. Free shipping. On Amazon. 9. What is the real price? I believe the... look here. Chronicle. 20 pounds. You are paying KSI and Logan Paul. That's what you are paying. For... If you go and... Do you know Aquarius? It's the same. It's the same. Yeah, look, I bought yesterday for 15. This is something else. I don't know what, but I seriously bought 15 because I really wanted to test to tell you. It's like Aquarius. That's it. You're still thirsty. I don't understand. I really don't understand. If it's 4 or 5 Canadian dollar, okay, you pay. I understand that everything you need to pay for, huh? You put the brand, you put the production, it's natural, whatever, why not? But, guys, I tell you, it doesn't make your hair grow, you don't become more beautiful, you don't speak English better, you're still thirsty. So, don't go with the vibes. If it's 15, pass and wait, because if it still exists in 1 year, it will cost you the normal price. Anyway. It is what it is. Thank you, Stavros. Thank you, Anthony. Maximum of likes. Thank you, Aldo. BT. Jesus Macias. Juvepels. Amadou Corcaso. G. Mariano. Mark 1. Cecilia. Why are you talking about this? Because I had nothing to say, Cecilia. Because I talked for 1 hour 30 about Juve, and then I had this one in my hand. And now I'm talking about this because I had nothing to say. Sometimes I speak about whatever. May I? Do I have the permission of Cecilia? Cecilia, tell me yes, Beppe, you can speak about whatever you want. Otherwise, I will not sleep well. Maybe, Enzo, I will become the next Rocky because of Prime. Let me know. Cecilia, I need Cecilia to answer that one. Otherwise, I will not sleep well. If you drink Prime, you will start to love Inter. I heard. No. I will not drinking anymore. Ragazzi, it was fantastic. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the press conference. This evening, instead of watching Napoli-Milan, I will go and I will watch Super Mario at the cinema. Much better. Much better. Maybe we go live this evening and thank you, Cecilia. And then we can talk about whatever Cecilia wants. This evening, if we go live and Cecilia is there, she decides what we can talk about. At least it will be better. No. What do you think can help fix our fitness problem? Amadou, the answer is always Prime.